on you. So ballet and what else?
Dave,
Do any
I
jazz?
need to get one of those lights that says on air.
How old is she? There you go. Look out.
Music City for the stragglers. This is a place of authentic transformation and some kick-ass music. Thank y'all so much. You're feeling it. I feel the energy. It's amazing. I got a couple of announcements for you, and then we'll move on back to the good stuff. The Arc of Abundance, creating a world worth living, right?
That's our
Yes.
that's our theme.
That's
the theme for the month.
Creating a world worth living. And our special music today, you got a treat coming. We got Michael Elley. Yes! He always kills me. You know, I'm always telling them that I have to be between a 3 and a 5 and a 7 or I'm crying. And Michael puts me in one of those spots every time he sings. So if I come up here like, oh, yo, let's pray together, it was Michael Elley. There are no Wednesday classes at this time, either lunch bunch or Wednesday evening classes. So if you show up and the place is dark, that's why. Yep, not happening. And now we need you to sign up for the Dotson Chapel Food Pantry on January 11th. And Sherry, I understand you got some special things.
Yeah, if I can just talk from right here. This coming Saturday, the 11th, is the pantry at Dotson Chapel. So if you're one to like to volunteer for things, this is a really good opportunity for you to sign up. On the board back there next to the restrooms, there's a board back there that says sign up for the pantry. There's some special needs that we have. Okay, you mind if I read it from my...
Do it.
Go ahead. Do it. It's coming. Okay. The canned meats, you know, like tunas and chickens, canned meals like SpaghettiOs and ravioli. Pasta sauce. Nobody in here likes pasta. Cereal and cereal bars. That goes quick. Jellies, okay, and soups and chili. Those kinds of canned stuff. So those are some special needs that we have, and if you can get it sometime before Friday, because Friday is when we have to weigh the products from here and then take it to the pantry for Saturday's pantry. So please help us out. We'd love to have you if you want to volunteer. Again, this is a great way to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. All right. And now Friday, January 10th, which is right before when you need to bring stuff in, so maybe you could bring stuff to this. We have the Energy Wellness Center at 7 p.m. Of course, this involves energy healing practitioners, and they'll be available for short sessions on a first-come, first-served basis. And come early, because a lot of people show up for this, and it's awesome. You don't want to miss it. All right, you want to sing again? Yeah. Let's do it. Come on now. January 12th, sounds familiar, is the Leadership Council meeting. So Leadership Council folks, me, okay? And then one more thing that's very special we have to do before I turn it over to B. It is the first Sunday of the month. So anybody who's got a birthday in January, please stand so we can sing happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you. I hope your next year is filled with even more goodness than you can imagine. All of you. B?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm really happy to see so many lovely faces out here today. Some of you I haven't seen for a while, and it's wonderful to be back together again. We will celebrate today. We will celebrate with joy. And here we are in a brand new year, in a brand new place in our lives. A time to reset our breath, reboot our beingness, and recalibrate our beliefs. As we begin this experience together, let us affirm, what I am looking for, I am looking with. Together, what I am looking for, I am looking with. Have you ever had those moments where you looked at yourself in the mirror and wondered, who is that person staring back at me? The question, who am I, has been asked by millions since the beginning of time. Interestingly enough, the answer to the question seems elusive at best. In New Thought we say, I am a divine child of God. And then, depending on our own beliefs about divinity, children, and God, our answers may vary over time. My answer may be something quite different than your answer. My answer may be different today than it was 10 years ago, and my answer may be different tomorrow than it is today. So, how do I know that I am getting the answer I am seeking? Is there a right answer? When St. Francis stated, what we are looking for is what is looking, he was speaking of the truth of our beingness. Time in the silence offers more clarity of this truth. The truth that we are seeking is not somewhere out there, it is within the here and now. It is the presence felt. And the truth can only be revealed when we cease the seeking and fall into the stillness of now. What I am looking for, I am looking with.
So I ask that you settle into your seats and begin with a reset breath. And if you haven't done those in a while, you exhale first. There's another little piece to that. Put your left hand over your heart, not your right hand, your left hand. And you put your left hand on your tummy with your thumb very close to or in your belly button. This has to do with your vagus nerve. And if you don't know anything about the vagus nerve, it's very important. It's what regulates all of your organs and your systems in your body. And so what you're actually doing is resetting your whole self with this breath. So again, exhale. Then as you close your eyes and inhale, just begin to pay attention to what your body feels like. You're allowing your body and your breath to reset. You're allowing your entire beingness to reboot, just like a computer needs to reboot every once in a while. We've just gone through weeks and weeks of busyness, Thanksgiving, and families, and Christmas, and parties, and New Year, and excitement. So it's time to reset and reboot and give ourselves time to recalibrate our belief systems. What I am looking for in this very moment, I am looking with a deep, deep philosophical quote, meaning that the answers are within me, not somewhere out there, not somewhere out there in the world, but the answers that I have been seeking all my life are within me. And so I breathe into this moment again and settle into the silence. In the silence. In the silence. What I am looking for, I am looking with. The answers that I might be seeking for the new year are right inside me. There is only one presence and one power.
Just one power, God. is just one presence and just one power in my life.
Please welcome Michael Elley.
Taking it unplugged, sir. Not sure this is the way to start a new year, but hey. Okay, here we go. This song that I'm going to do for you folks is a number that originally I wrote for my daughter shortly after she was born. And it's now part of a musical that I've written on the mystical life of the Christ called Light Waves. And I think that I received this information at one point from the good Reverend, and I wanted to read this to you because this sort of sets the stage. This is from Albert Einstein. And I didn't receive this until after I'd written my show, which is called Light Waves. We are slowed down sound and light waves, a walking bundle of frequencies tuned into the cosmos. We are souls dressed up in a sacred biochemical garments, and our bodies are the instruments through which our souls play their music.
Adjust your mic there, Michael.
Hello. Okay. Thank you.
And tighten.
Hang on. There we go. All right. We've got it here.
And then raise it.
And do what?
It's falling down. You want to tighten it from the.
Yeah, well, please get this together. All right, here we go. Light the dawn, dispel the darkness, bringing light into this sphere, letting life express the essence, living present without fear. Never face another morning without knowing all is right. For in light the world is forming, new beginnings are inside. Once the star-born knows his moment, once he sees his truth has come, let the world receive atonement with the coming of the dawn. Dreams of wisdom hold the future in the hand of destiny, a living truth without confusion, helping all mankind to see. Once the star-born knows his mission, once he sees his light has come, there will be a clearer vision, there will be a brighter dawn. Always focus on the changes, not on what one may perceive. What we are is what will save us. What we give, we will receive. Here we stand in our beginning, helping all mankind to see. Hand in hand, we all are winning. One great world in harmony. Here we stand in our beginning, helping all mankind to see. Hand in hand, we all are winning. One great world in harmony. Hand in hand, we all are winning. One great world in harmony.
That was the picture I found that was kind of like what he was singing about. But I wanted to add something. What I am looking for, I am looking with. I don't know how that affirmation affected you, but anytime I've ever read any of the writings that has that as the premise, it's kind of like what the belief is about. I think I'm looking for something out there, but it's really in me. I have people all the time that say, well, I can't meditate, I can't be still. You hadn't got to who you really are yet. And you know, the weird thing about meditation is you can't just sit and go, if you haven't cleaned out your dirty pot. Because when you get still and go, all of that stuff that you don't want to look at is going to go, hello, hey. It's exactly what's going to happen. And that's why people go, well, I can't meditate. You haven't hung in there long enough. You just have to keep on and keep on and keep on. It's like a skanky pot. I used to do lessons about that a lot. If you add stuff to a skanky pot, you're just going to get more skanky. You got to clean it out first. If I try to add a new belief on top of something that is not working for me, it's going to jumble all up inside with that and be even more confusing. Hence, what we're going to be doing here for the next 6 months is understanding the art of abundance and creating a life that is worth living. Now, I can't tell you how to create the life that I've created because that's mine. You have to get that on your own. Because what I like and what is abundance to me may not be the same as it is to you. Does that make sense? All of you don't want to live on the Tennessee River. Some of you want to live in the ocean. In the ocean or on the ocean. I have some friends that are on a boat right now out there in it. So, what is it that you really want in your life? And do you even know? Do you know who that person is that you see in the mirror every morning? I just heard a... So the art of abundance is creating a life worth living. I've heard some people and I've seen a few people going, oh, this is all about wealth. No, it's not. It really has nothing to do with that. This whole process is about shifting your consciousness. But it has nothing to do with wealth and money. Are you aware that you all are all more abundant and prosperous than 75% of the people on the earth?
Yes.
Right now? If you have clothes in your closet and food in your refrigerator and a place to put your head at night, you are more prosperous than 75% of the people that live on Mother Earth. So say something to somebody about that beside you. What does that say to you? So that may be a rude awakening to some of you. Go home and open your closets and look what's in them. Oh yeah, some of it falls out the floor when you open up the closet. Go home and open your refrigerator and look in there. Now Judy and I had to clean out the refrigerator. It's like, Lord mercy, from all of these meals and all of it's like, whoo, we'll never eat all of this. Do you realize that there are people that go to bed hungry at night and have nothing? Zippo. The rules of engagement mean what you have to do differently. If you want abundance and prosperity in your life, you can't sit on your behind and go, you have to get up and move. Because if you don't already have it, then you're not doing the right things. Can you hear that? You know, I have told the board and the leadership, I'm going to be really crass for the next 6 months. I'm going to just be great. Because I've been sweet and nice for 20-something years. And I've had people go, honey, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. If you come crying to me, it's you, it's you, it's you. It's not me. Do you get that? If your life is not like you want it to be, you better look in the mirror and go, what am I doing? And what is one thing I could do different today to make something shift? Now talk to somebody and see what comes out of your mouth. So know that by the end of today's lesson, you're going to have to pick a piece of homework for yourself. But you're the only one who's going to know whether you did it or not. But hopefully, just in today's lesson, there will be one thing you'll go, oh, I need to do that. Don't try to do it all today. I've done that before. And you end up with chemicalization, which Brother Fillmore talks about, which everything in your system starts coming out, all orifices. Don't do that. I promise you, if you try to change all your belief systems today, your body will rear up on you. Seriously. It will go, oh, Lord. Some of you remember when I was the elimination queen here years and years ago. I was throwing up on Sunday morning before I even got up and spoke. Wow. You have to get it out of your system. Whatever it is that is holding you back, you have to get it out of your system. And I can promise you it's attached to a belief about something. So, if you would do this in the silence every day, reset your breath. I've taught this for years. and allow your system to reboot. How many of you have ever had to reboot a computer because it was just haywire and it wouldn't do anything right? Well, think about that with yourself. Just reboot yourself. And then what you're asking Holy Spirit to do is help you recalibrate your beliefs. Because if something is not working right, there is a belief in the way. Breathe, and I'm going to say that again. And it ain't somebody else's belief, it's yours. If something is not working, it is a belief in the way. My sweet friend Kathy Benson, who's not here, sees me on a regular basis, so I can just sit in there and regurgitate to her what I need to regurgitate. And she was the one that finally said to me, your mother is not going to change. It's like I knew that, but I kept showing up waiting for her to. Thinking this is going to be the day that she's going to hug me and love me and say, oh, Denise, you're wonderful. I'm 62 and it ain't happened yet, okay? So eventually I had to realize that I had to recalibrate my belief. Because I had a belief that mothers are supposed to do that. You get me? Yes. And so if I have a belief that somebody is supposed to do that, and they don't, I don't like you. Hence is where we're going today. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to know that everybody has a piece of pink paper. You don't have to use the pink paper, but you are going to need to use something. This is not a sit here and stare at Denise and go, okay, and then leave and then call me and go, I didn't understand what you were saying. Put it on the paper, okay? So as things come up for you, put them on this paper. But I'm going to ask you right in this minute to close your eyes for me. And I just want you to listen and see what happens inside of you. What does the word abundance mean to me? Sit there. And if you're writing, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be quiet and still. Michael. I told you, it's not Michael Elley, it's this Michael over here. Quiet down and don't do anything right now. Because the minute you start doing something, your mind has gone on to that. What gives meaning to my life? When I think about abundance, what feelings do I feel? What do I believe about abundance? Is what I think about abundance the same thing that I believe, or are there differences? What do I think affects my ability to demonstrate abundance in my life? How do I recognize abundance in my world? So now I'm going to ask you to come back into this room and write for about 30 to 40 seconds. And then when I tell you to share, share. Don't share before because you will upset somebody who's trying to write. So in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to share with somebody. I want you to hear this. Dee read this just a little while ago. My answer may be quite different than your answer. My answer may be different today than it was 10 years ago. My answer may be different tomorrow than it is today. Know that there are no right or wrong answers. Nobody gets the prize for the best answer about what abundance is. Because again, Brendan and I might have totally different ideas about what abundance is. I bet his has something to do with water in a pool. Maybe. You know what I mean? So share with somebody. So those of you that are lucky enough to be sitting with your partners, this is important. Because these conversations are very important if the two of you do not have the same definition of abundance. Can you understand that? And what it would be like to create an abundant life. And neither one of you are wrong, but somebody's going to have to scoot you. Get me? And then what? And what if you're the one that goes, I ain't scoot you? Does that make sense? This is deep work to do with your partner. This is deep work to do with a church. This is deep work to do with a book club. This is deep work to do with a group of people. Because if we're not all on the same page, which I can promise you, every one of us are not on the same page here at this church about what abundance means. We're not. Even though we've taught this, and taught this, and brought in people to teach this, and taught it, and taught it, and taught it, it takes a while, do you get me? Because we've all lived our own lives and have our own ideas about what it means or don't mean. And then people run away because I don't like what they believe. I don't think we should have a building. I think we should just meet out in the woods. Okay. I mean, think about it. What is abundance to you? Some people tell me they would love to have this church full with 300 people. Now, I want to tell you, at Doug Beal's service, we had close to 200 people in this room, and none of us could breathe. Okay? Wall to wall people. But to that person, that's abundance, being in a room with big wads of people. Anybody introverted other than me in here? That is not abundance to those of us who are introverted. Abundance to me is sitting on the deck of my river house by myself, without a dog or with you. Okay? So what is abundance to you? So here's what we're going to be doing for 6 months. These words mean something, and they mean something to you already, and some of them may mean something ugly. Anybody have problems with the word rules? So I'm going to tell you that you're going to have to get over your big bad self, because if you want an abundant life, there are some rules. And I understand millennials don't like them. I have 2 sons that don't like them. It's like, you don't have to do that, but you're not going to live an abundant life if you don't. It's that simple. Presuppositions are beliefs I must hold to create a clear path to travel. If I want to create an abundant life, a life worth living, there's going to be some things I'm going to have to believe first. Which means it might rub up against something I'm already believing, which is I'm going to have to clean out my skanky pot. That makes sense? Rules are guidelines to follow during travel. While I'm going through my life, one of them is I need to live in the flow. I need to give and receive. If I give more than I'm receiving, I'm out of balance. If I receive more than I give, I'm out of balance. That's so simple. Yet, so difficult. Does that make sense? And engagement has to do with action. I can't just sit in here on Sunday morning and write all these notes and take them home and lay them on a desk and hope, or put them under my pillow and hope it gets there somehow. I have to do something different. Unless my life is 100% exactly the way I want it, and then yay, raw tootie for you. There are very few those in the world. I talked about this last week. When I am standing right here in my life, this is what I see and this is what I'm experiencing. And this is what my body feels and knows and deals with. And if I don't like it, what do I have to do? Move. We said that last week. Move and look at something different. I have people that say, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job. And I go, quit. And they go, I can't, I can't, I can't. Move. That is so simple, but we make it so hard. Because we have a belief. I can't. I can't. You always can. You made the choice to not. Does that make sense? Believe me, if this is hard stuff, I've been doing this for 35, 36 years. Ask her. You have to look at yourself. Always. Because it always comes back to me. If I am unhappy, if I don't have what I want, I can't blame it on other people. That's what we do. It's my partner's fault. Leave them. I know that sounds crass, but if you think it really is, then leave them. You'll figure out very quickly that you probably have a part in it somewhere. Because everywhere you go, there you are. But if you can remember to live your life like an experiment, experiment. Oh, you know, I've been standing here for 25 years. I'm going to move over here and see what the world looks like. And then I may go, you know, I don't like it right here, but I like it right there. Is that difficult? Talk to someone beside you about that. I can see we're stirring the pot a little bit, which is a good thing. Remember the skanky pot? You just stirred it up. And some of that's going to come up at 3 o'clock in the morning while you're trying to sleep. You know, I can give you a very easy example. My mother is 87 years old, and she still believes that on Thanksgiving and Christmas, everyone should sit down at the same time and eat together. And now I have 2 sons and their wives and all of their families and 2 grandkids and all of that. And I can promise you it doesn't always work out that way. And so she's always pissed. Always. Well, Logan can be here at 3, so we're going to eat at 3. But I don't know what time Austin and Mary Beth are going to get here because they got to go to Mary Beth's family. I'm like, I said, what about having ham and biscuits or something we can just pick up and eat when we get there? Oh no, we have to sit down and look at each other. Well, we don't even like to do that, but we're going to. Beliefs that we hold that we're not willing to let go of. And we know deep in our soul we're not happy with them. But we've been doing this in this family for 60 years, so we're not stopping now. Do you understand it's not living an abundant life when you're trying to make everybody do what you want them to do? Because they're not going to. Even little children, I hate to tell you. Even Zachary at 1 year old says, mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's pretty clear to me. I'm not doing that. I'm not eating that. I will cloth if you make me eat that. And then Mima will get upset because we have a belief that everybody should eat asparagus. So hear me, abundance is not just about money, it's about peace of mind. It's about love and joy and peace. And am I feeling it or not? And am I the problem?
Yes.
I may be the problem. So here come the rules for the rule people that don't like it.
Pay attention.
And what I can tell you is you may want to wait till they're all up there and then take a picture of them, or you may want to write on your pink paper. That's going to be mine. I need to work on that. Somebody read that out loud. What does that mean? With everything. All of it. What are the pieces of life that you don't like, that you don't want to be one with? You and my son Austin. He used to holler, "Mama!" I was like, "What? There's a spider in the bathtub." Honey, you're bigger than that spider. Be one with life. If you're not one with life, you can't live in abundance. Some of you are going, there is just one presence and one power in my life and in all the universe, God the good, omnipotent.
Yes.
Basic unity principle. We say we believe it until there is something we don't like, and they're not one with me.
Yeah.
Right? That situation is not one with me. There is one presence and one power in my life and in all the universe. What about that do I not get? Now again, that doesn't mean I have to invite all those people over for dinner. I don't have to be in their club. But I don't have to say nasty things about them either.
Yes.
Do you realize what you put out there will roll back to you?
Oh, yeah.
If you get out there and say something nasty about Donald Trump, it's saying it about yourself. Breathe. I knew that was going to raise some. Whatever you say nasty about somebody, you're saying it about yourself. Yes, ma'am. That's what we believe in unity. What you put out there comes back to you. Only say good things. You know, I had this conversation with a friend of mine over the New Year's. If you can't say anything else, highest and best. Nanu, nanu. Because do you want to keep perpetuating that nastiness out in the universe? Do you believe that our thoughts are powerful enough for people to shift?
Yes.
We say we believe that until it comes to some big bugaboo that we don't know how to deal with, and then we go, "Meh." What if we all sent love to Donald Trump today? Everybody breathe. Your life is in an expanding universe. It's not even the same as it was when you were a little girl, y'all, or a little boy. Do you not realize that? If you've lived in Nashville, Nashville is not the same. Things are changing and shifting and expanding, and it may not be the same tomorrow. And what I believe today may have to change because it doesn't work tomorrow. But some of us are determined in our 60s and 70s and 80s that this is the way I've always done it, so even though it doesn't work, anymore. Does that make sense? If it's causing me stress, I need to shift. I'm in an organization where they send out all these long, hairy emails, and then the administrator gets mad because people don't read them. I'm like, does that make sense? Does it make sense to send out long, hairy emails and then get mad at the people that don't read them? No. Doesn't make any sense. What I can tell you is I have 2 sons that are millennials. They don't read emails. If they get them, they go, okay. I can promise you, they'll read a text. They'll read a message on Facebook. They'll respond to a Facebook thing, messenger that's like several people in a message. They ain't gonna respond to an email. Change the way we're doing things because it's an expanding universe. Number 3.
Oh.
Somebody read that out loud, loudly.
Be accountable for your consciousness.
Huh. No, but I want somebody else to be accountable for my consciousness. The bottom line is I'm creating my world, and if I'm creating my world, then it's my consciousness that I have to keep looking at. I know we've said in Unity over and over and over and over and in New Thought, let's not do metaphysical malpractice, but some of you have got so lenient on the other side, it's like, look at your stuff. Because if your world is not what you want it to be, you got to look in the mirror first. And then what you may find is it's the people you surround yourself with that have made it worse. And then you may have to let go of some of that. What do you focus on about 75 or 80% of the day? Lunch. You know, one of the things I shared with one person that I was working with the other day is that you focus on what's wrong all the time. And guess what happens? You get more of that. That's the 3rd unity principle. Thoughts in mind reproduce after their kind. If I'm always looking for what's wrong, I'm going to keep seeing it. What if I look for what's right? What if I focus on the good? You ever heard that? Be in the flow. Again, what you give, you receive. That's not just about money. That's my thoughts. That's my words. That's my emotions. If I go in somewhere and blow everybody out of the water and curse them out, guess what? It's going to come back. We don't want to look at that. Now, I'm not saying that we have to be somebody's doormat, but you can say things in a kinder way than some ways people say things. This one is the hardest one if you're not already happy in your life. Why would you have an abundant life if you're walking around? You're not. The energy in your body. That's why we are rebooting our beingness. The energy in my body is what people feel first before I ever open my mouth. Are you aware of that? And so if everybody that's coming to me is complaining or crying or whatever, then guess what? I need to look at my energy. Or if everybody leaves the room when I enter, run screaming into the night, it's probably not because I didn't put my deodorant on. It's probably because my energy. Take a look. Be passionate about living.
Yes.
Did you hear me ask you when you had your eyes closed? You know, what is it that I dearly love, that I really have a lot of passion about? I work with people all the time that say, well, I'm really passionate about this. I'm like, well, how many hours a day do you spend on that? Well, I don't. Because I don't have time. Huh. What would happen if you made it a priority? Things might begin to start turning around. How often do you say thank you? Go home today and look in your refrigerator and look in your closets and go, I have clothes and I have food and I have a bed to lay my head down on. That is better than 75% of the people on the earth. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. Even if you're not driving the car you want to drive or not living in the house you want to live in, you are blessed. You are blessed. You are blessed. That has to happen. Remember, I said I'm going to be crass here. There are people that come in here on Sunday morning that never, ever get themselves involved in a ministry here. They just come in and set their booty on the chair and receive. Can't do that. You have to get involved in something. And if there's nothing here that you want to get involved in, then go somewhere where there is. A minister just told me to leave. No, I didn't. I said, go live an abundant life. And if all you're doing is receiving, then you're out of balance. Now, there may be things that we are a part of in this church that you can be a part of, and it is like a offshoot. What Sherry was talking about earlier. The food pantry. That's an awesome one.
It's fun.
Talk to Carl about One Nashville. Carl, raise your hand. They meet about 2 Saturdays a month or more. You enjoy getting involved in political stuff and the educational things that are going on and things that are going on in the city of Nashville. You've got to be of service to someone other than you. You're supposed to laugh about that. It can't all be about you. Yes. What does it take for you to be courageous? I saw some of you, and some of you are still sitting with your faces, they look like I just slapped you upside the head with that noodle. What does it take for you to move from here to there? Courage. Because I may have been standing here for 40 years, and I may not like it, but at least I know what this is. And the minute I move here, I have no idea what this is. And if you don't like change, you can just say, well, I'm just going to stay right here. Does that make sense? Be courageous. Somebody beside you, talk to them about one thing that you do to be a force for good in the world.
Education that we've been working on for 20 years, and I'm still really
was you were talking about is your homework for the next week. Because that's what we're here to do. We're not here to sleep and eat and come home and watch television and go to a job and do nothing else. We're here to change the planet. And the planet is in dire need right now for us. You all begun to see what's going on in Australia? And that's just one place. And so I've had people over the years say, well, I can't get involved in all of that. What is one thing you can get involved in? One thing. Because we all can get involved in something. But I'm tired and I'm old and I just like to sit on my deck. I hear that a lot. What? Well, they might be sitting on their deck, but they're sitting on their ASS on their deck. Yes. Because again, and I have said this many times over the last 2 years, many of us thought at some point we were going to be able to retire and just be. The world is in alarm mode right now. Our world is in alarm mode right now. And there's something with your name on it out there. So the last thing I want to say to you is, how many of you remember elementary school and opening up a brand new box of crayons? I can smell them right this minute. And how many of you had your favorite colors? And you had crayons that got really short and crayons that hadn't been used at all? Well, this is another rule. Because I can promise you, if you have a box of crayons, they're all needed somewhere. They're all needed somewhere. We all are a part of the beautiful, magnificent box of crayons here in this world. And we are all needed somewhere. Namaste.
You remember the orange crayons in the fall? Yes? Okay. Okay, guys. This is a song that I wrote while I was going back and forth to the Soviet Union as a citizen diplomat entertainer. And it's a song that everybody can sing. David, you can put a little of the reverb on that. Good man, thank you. This, your part goes as follows. All together now. All together now. All together now. All together now. Do we need rehearsal? I'm going to do a plunk, 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 and then... Okay, fine. The time has come to make our choice. All together now. So join us, friends, and raise your voice. All together now. Clap your hands and sing along. All together now. The world will join us in our song. All together now. We'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now to live. All together now to love. All together now we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now. All together now. To all the world this song we sing. All together now. The bells of freedom we will ring. All together now. A song of peace for you and me. All together now. The world in loving
harmony. All together now, sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, to live. All together now, to love. All together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, all together now. We used to think the world was flat. All together now, but around today is where it's at. All together now, separate states we used to be. All together now, today one world in harmony. All together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, to live. All together now, to love. All together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, all together now. To all the world this song we give. All together now, we have made the choice to live. All together now, a song of joy for you and me. All together now, we now choose to live in harmony. All together now, sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, to live. All together now, to love. All together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, all together now. One more time, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, to live. All together now, to love. All together now, sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, all together now.
Thank you, Michael. Amazing as usual. Would you please, all together now, join in our prayer for abundance. I live in the midst of infinite abundance. I give freely and fearlessly to life, and life gives back to me. If you would join in the sacred walk of abundance up in this direction, we're a little different today. You have the bowl here, and then get your affirmation over there.
I know.
Each day I'll give my best. I will be a source of constant love, bringing hope and happiness. It's more than just the words I say. It's more than just the prayers I pray. It's acts of kindness I do each day, offering peace and joy and love. I will be a force for good in this world. I'll reach out to those in need. I will be a light where darkness lies. By example I will lead. It's more than just the words I say. It's more than just the prayers I pray. It's acts of kindness I do each day, offering peace and joy and love. It's more than just the words I say. It's more than just the prayers I pray. With Spirit as my source, I will stay the course. I will be a force for good in this
So let's open our hands and our hearts and our minds and bless these tithes and offerings that have been given. And then go back inside for a moment and go, what I am searching for, what I am looking for, I am looking and searching with. May each of us remember that the answers are right inside. And I can create a life of abundance and blessings and peace and love and joy that is oh so worth living. And so it is. Amen.
You know, the Reverend's lesson brought an idea to my mind from something that I have studied. Dr. Loretto Graziano Bruning wrote in The Science of Positivity that we have 10,000 more neurons going from the brain to the eyes than we have from the eyes to the brain. And it's scientific proof that we see what we expect. If we expect to see danger, we see it. If we expect to see abundance and love, we see it. 10,000 times more likely. And that's science. That's not theology. So I hope your 2020 is full of clear vision. And please join us in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are,